as a gym owner, yes, you need to take care of yourself so that you can be the best that you can be to run your business and deliver a great product to your clients, obviously. But it's also so that you can take these life lessons that you're doing and then share them and make them available to your membership database.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Gym Owners Growth Zone podcast. My name's Andres Escobar, and I'm so ready to share our next episode where I had a conversation with Liz Suarez. Liz is a multi-degreed leader and mentor specializing in mental health and culture change. She comes here with 2 F45 training gyms. As you're about to hear, Liz excels in strategy development and decision-making to help clients reach their potential. So if this is your first time listening to our podcast and you like what you're hearing, go ahead and follow us on your favorite platform. We appreciate your support and are truly thankful for it. Also, when you're listening to the show and you think of a friend, do them a favor, share it with them, because sharing is caring, as we all know, and it's just the nice thing to do. My last ask is simple. Since we are new, we need ratings and reviews. We would greatly appreciate it if you gave us a review. It would help us reach a wider audience and help us improve the show by leaving your feedback. By the way, if you have any other comments or any more feedback, feel free to connect directly with me on Instagram at MeetEsco. And I'd love to hear any suggestions or feedback you want to share with me. You can also find me on LinkedIn, Andres Escobar 1. Now, as we dive into Liz's episode, I really want to get your opinion and thoughts about what she's about to share with us. So let's just go ahead and jump in and listen to our conversation. See you there. Hey everyone, it's Andres Escobar, and I'm here with Liz. I'd like to welcome her to our podcast and thank her for coming. Thank you so much, Liz, for just taking the time out of your day to share with us your story and some strategies and some ideas for the audience to take away and be able to apply and grow their gym business. So, Liz, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. We were just talking and jamming, and she's like so genuine. She's like, I just want to share my story. I just want to be able to connect and be able to impact, right? And when I listen to and read about you, Liz, I see somebody that wants to impact, and you're doing so many things to leave a mark on this earth. And so I'd love for you to kind of share the story, the origin story. You know, that you're a superhero in my eyes, honestly. Gym owners, to me, you guys are doing so much. You're juggling so many things. You're helping people make a difference in their lives. So if you could share with us the start of how everything began for you.
How everything began when it comes to gym ownership?
Yeah, like how you got into this track of gym ownership. Like what led you into this in this world?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I would say, going way back, I was interested in fitness and training myself on a personal level. I used to be into bodybuilding. I did competitive bodybuilding for about 4 years. And then I was actually training at that time to become a firefighter paramedic. And while I was in school, obviously I needed to work. So I was finding jobs within the fitness industry. One thing led to another. I landed myself a job with a publicly traded fitness company called Town Sports International. At which point I really got introduced to the corporate side of fitness rather than it just being on a personal level. So I was able to travel the world, meet a lot of people in the industry. And then that's how I, in turn, met the CEOs. There were 2 at the time for F45 training. So my role at Town Sports was head of acquisitions and business development. So at that time, F45 training, they are originated in Australia. And so they were looking to infiltrate the US market. Initially, they were looking to do a master franchise to all of North America to somebody at that time. So they were looking at Town Sports International being that master franchisee. So I was the person who went to that meeting and spoke with the CEOs of F45 on behalf of Town Sports to potentially do a deal for that master franchise deal.
So you were like one of the originators, sounds like.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my goodness. So cool. Oh,
So
man.
at that time, F45 training, Town Sports, we were trying to work out a deal. Town Sports decided to pass on that deal, which I still think was probably a mistake to this day. But they decided to pass on that deal, and I still kept in touch with both CEOs from F45 Corporate, and they were basically headhunting me to come work for them for almost 2 years, probably, until finally I said, okay, you know what? I'll say yes. I made the transition, and then I started working for F45 Corporate at that time as one of their first US employees.
Wow. So you came in not through gym ownership, but you came in as corporate helping the franchise establish themselves in the US market.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I know this about you, and if you could share, like, I know you're a firefighter.
Yes.
Yeah. So were you a firefighter during this time, or did this
Yes.
happen? Okay. Oh wow. So this is amazing. So you're a firefighter, and you're looking, and they found you, and you just like you kind of like stumbled upon it, but you were looking for it though, right?
Yeah, I mean, so I was looking for the job with Town Sports
Mm.
because when I first started working for Town Sports, I wasn't hired as a firefighter yet. I was still finishing up my certifications and still trying to get hired. There was a hiring freeze at that time for firefighters, so I
Yeah.
knew that I needed to figure out a career one way or another while I waited. So when I first worked for Town Sports, I wasn't a firefighter. I did get hired though as a firefighter right before I made the transition from Town Sports to F45 Corporate. So I was able to pursue both at the same time, which was really cool. Um, and with F45 Corporate, because they were so dedicated to chasing me and having me come on board, I really felt that I was in such a good position to where I could really write my own script. I could say,
Mm.
hey, I'm not leaving Florida. I know you're based in LA now, but I leaving Florida isn't an option. So if you want me, I work remotely. Or, in that case, they were trying to offer me a signing bonus, and I said I don't want any cash. I want equity. So then that's how I ended up with gym ownership. Was because I
Wow.
took the equity instead of the signing bonus. So little things like that, I was able to really leverage and utilize to write my own narrative.
So do you still work for corporate while having some gym ownerships? No.
No, so
No.
I worked for corporate for several years, and then once my firefighting career really started to take off, and some other things that I was pursuing started to take off, I decided to separate from F45 corporate. Although at that time, when I did separate, I still had my equity, so I still had the rights to two territories to build out, which I then focused that extra time I then had on opening those studios. So although I did separate from F45 corporate, I didn't really separate from F45 in general. So
Smart move. Smart move. That's good. Yeah, we're gonna understand a little more how you masterminded this whole gym ownership, because I think that's just like a new way to actually get that done. That's really amazing how you were able to get that equity, and that's super important because it's not just one way to get something done. You figured out another way. So I love that determination. So thank you for that. That's so
yeah.
cool. Is there anything else you want to share about your story? I don't I'm so inquisitive about your story, and how you came to where you are. So
I mean, I would say that I think that, I think I'm very fortunate that I was in a position to where I could say no to a signing bonus, right? I could say, you know what, I don't want your 50,000. I would rather have the long game because I did have the fire department. I had other things going to where I was able to take that risk or, turn down a signing bonus, which most people wouldn't, right? So I
right,
think the bigger, message in that story is that you don't always go for, the immediate golden egg, right? Like turn down the 50 grand and just take the equity and know that it's a longer play, but it works out better in the end.
I love the long play. And I think as business owner, gym owner, we all think about the long play, and sometimes it's tempting, right? The temptation's there to go short, and if we stay strong, and we can definitely see a lot more returns. I think that goes for fitness, that goes for business, that goes for a lot of things, right? Relationships, I mean, the list goes on. So I love that. Smart, so smart. So cool. Thanks again, Liz. And so with this journey that you've been on, I really want to unpack like the way that you actually were able to get to where you're at right now. Like, life's a roller coaster. We all know that, and business is no different. And so, we'd love to share with us the tracks that you use, because you go up and down, left and right. You can get out of your seat if you don't have the right harness, the right track, the right plan. We could say that as a plan. What was the track for you? What was the guardrails that you used to stay on and focused?
To stay focused, I don't know if I had any guardrails to stay focused other than just deadlines that I would
Okay.
set for myself. But regarding the track, I mean, so when I first got the equity to those gyms, each territory grab or land grab, so to say, is typically about anywhere from $35 to $50,000 based on the location. So that was the land grab that I now didn't have to come out of pocket for.
Mm.
But I knew that anything in addition to that, meaning build out, operating expenses, payroll, all of that stuff, right, that comes with making these gyms actually open the door, that wasn't included, in the equity deal, right? So, the equipment, franchising fees, all that stuff was still going to be knocking at my doorstep when I took that step. So I spent the next several years after obtaining that equity coming up with a plan on how to make these things actually come alive. Now that I own the land area of it, now how do I actually make it come to fruition, which is a whole
Right.
nother project. So anything from looking into SBAs to lines of credit to leveraging assets to whatever the case may be. And I don't need to say it, because most people know this already, but when you're opening your first business, it's next to nearly impossible because you don't have, business credit and you don't have other things to leverage yet, especially when you're first starting out. So it was a challenge for sure. I was lucky enough that I am a planner by nature, so I had a whole life insurance plan that I was able to leverage. I come from a great family. My father was able to co-sign and help me with things like that. So I did
Nice.
have help. I can't claim 100% of, my achievements by myself, but it was definitely a project in itself, figuring out the right path to take to make these things come alive.
Liz, I think that's amazing, because a lot of people think, oh, I got to do this on my own, right? And the theme a lot in our shows are, we can't do this alone. Ownership, it's an idea. It starts off in our head, but it can't stay there. And others need to attain that vision and be able to run with you. Having your dad co-sign, I think that's super smart, right? It doesn't have to be a dad. It can be a friend. It could be somebody out there to help you, that believes in you and your vision, that you will do great things. And so, and obviously that has come, right? That has come to fruition, and it's coming true every day. And so I love to hear that. We're not John Waynes. We're not Superman or woman. We can't do this alone. Even Superman has a super team, right?
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
superheroes have a super team, and they're able to do a lot more with a team. And by the way, you have a great staff. I've gone to her gym, and we were talking about the staff, the team that you're able to empower to run the show, right? Because you're still a firefighter right now, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not in the
Yeah.
studio day to day.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think guys, listen to what Liz has to say about this, because we're going to unpack that even further. And so I want to touch on the obstacles, the challenges that you've had in opening your gym. Obviously, you just shared a little bit in the beginning, opening, but anything that you like to share with us on what you overcame and how you overcame it?
Sure. So I opened in a very interesting year, being COVID year. So there were quite a few hurdles regarding COVID-19, as I'm sure you well know. Um, I will say that construction definitely tested my patience, to say the least. Construction was definitely one of the hardest parts in the beginning. Timelines weren't met, materials costed more. All of these unknowns that just get thrown at you left and right. But keeping the same end goal in mind is really what helps to keep you on track, and just taking it as it comes day to day is what really helped me. I was very fortunate. Again, my father is a retired architectural engineer, so I
Wow.
would, I would take the plans to him and be like, "Does this look right? Does this not? Can you come and look at the construction?" Because I just didn't know, especially commercial build outs are totally different than residential. So all of that stuff, dealing with the city, so it's really just kind of staying on top of it. I will say that the second build out was easier than the first because I already had
Sure.
materials chosen. I had a lot of things that are just more of a rinse and repeat. So it does get easier. It just was a lot and overwhelming at the beginning to deal with because there were just so many questions to answer, so many things to check on every single day. And that's not a time for owners to be absent.
Right.
That's really the time for you to be there every single day. Now, I don't think you should be there every single day for operations, and that's a different story, which I'm sure we can get into.
Yeah.
But construction is not one of those times.
Right. No, for sure. Yeah, because this is like the building of your vision, right? How does anybody know what it looks like unless you're there?
Yeah, and there's certain, time frames in construction that if you don't stop something before it already happens, then you're gonna paying more in the end to go back. So it's really about catching things and interjecting when you need to and being on top of it so that you don't get too far into something, then have to go back and change it, and then that adds a month to your construction or whatever the case may be. So it's really important to be present during the construction phase.
I think that's such a great topic, because there's gym owners that are starting, and there's also gym owners that are growing and they're remodeling. They're changing the way it looks. They're
Right.
expanding. They're doing things. And so, you know, hey, just because you did it once doesn't mean the next time it's going to be exactly the same. They're not. You still have to be there, present, to make sure it gets done like the first time.
Right.
Right.
100%. 100%.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. So that's what I'm taking away. That, hey, be present at certain areas, certain times where the vision is not clear to everybody. If it's not clear to everybody, you got to be present so you're able to cast and steer the ship where it needs to go. Because
100%.
right, if you go forward, oh my gosh, we passed that we can't, to turn around. It's gonna take a lot more than if I would have been just present.
Yeah, and I mean, it might be more time investment on the front end for you to do that,
Hmm.
but it will save you time and money on the back end to just do it up front. And like you said, if your vision can't be clear, which in my opinion, blueprints can only be so clear. So, and that's what those architects and contractors and stuff are going by, are blueprints, and they may come up with, okay, we're running these electrical lines in this area, but we have to go around this piping, and they go the wrong way. But if you're there in person and they can ask you, then that's something that you can negate there then and there, rather than having to open up the walls later and redo it, or whatever the case is. So it's just little examples like that happen 10 times a day minimum, that you can just, if you're present, like make your office the construction lobby or whatever it is,
Right.
just be there. It will save you so much time.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Actually, it's a good insight. I know somebody that's opening up a boxing gym, and they're in Miami, and it's in West Palm Beach. It's like, it's like he's never there. But I'm never. Oh, I'm not always there, so I don't know if but I got to give him that insight. Like this is
Yeah.
such good,
It's
such
worth
good.
being there. It's
It
worth
is.
being there than the after fact headaches that you might have when okay, we're all done, we're gonna get our CO, and then you go there and you're like, well, this isn't right, this isn't right, this isn't right, and now you have to fix it, or you settle for what you really didn't want. So, I'd rather just be there and deal with it as it comes.
As it comes. That's good. That's good. Well, I mean, you talk about blueprints, and so important to have blueprints in the plan. And in the fitness industry, there's so many different plans, so many different strategies, so many different ways to do things. What would you say is in the fitness industry something that needs to change like right now? Because if we don't change it, it's just going to get worse, right? Is there anything that stands out to you that you can think of that we need to address? Like if everybody listens, right? Let's change this together. What would it be?
That's a really good question. I would say that, overall fitness industry, I mean, when you hear fitness industry, what do you initially go to? Your thoughts, right? You go to, at least me, I go to workouts, I go to gym membership, I go to personal fitness, I think about the exercise portion of it and not so much the overall lifestyle portion of it. And I think that which I think the fitness society and in general is moving towards this direction, but I think if we could integrate nutrition and overall health and wellness when we talk about the fitness industry all being part of the same, that would be, crucial.
Yeah. Yeah, and it reminds me like nutrition being food, but also like sleep, right?
Right.
You
Overall
know,
health and wellness.
overall health and
Right.
wellness. Yeah.
One has to
Sometimes we
look.
underestimate the sleep portion of it.
Yeah,
And it's like,
recovery, right?
yeah.
All of that stuff plays a huge role. And, stretching or lab work, figuring out, if your hormones are imbalanced or if you have high cortisol stress hormone or whatever it is, right? All of this plays a role into your fitness goals and your lifestyle. And I think that historically we've always focused on fitness industry, writing workouts, getting a sweat on, all of that stuff. But all of that doesn't matter if your insides aren't good too, or if you're not putting in good things, if you're not sleeping well, if you're not recovering properly, all of that stuff doesn't matter. You can work out as hard as you want, go to whatever gym you want, pay as much money to a personal trainer as you want, and it won't matter if you don't do all the other stuff.
Yeah, I'm thinking you're speaking to the gym owner, right? It's like, hey, take care of yourself, right? You're the vehicle. You're the main source. If you're not taking care of yourself, how are you going to be able to connect with your team members, your actual members, and just fill your cup first, right?
Right.
That's what I'm kind of hearing. Yeah.
100%. I mean, obviously, you got to take care of your mask first before others, right? You got to
Right.
take care of yourself first, 100%, especially as an owner, not just for yourself, but so that you can also take those life lessons and those things and then pass them on to your clientele, to your membership database, things like that. Something I'm really focused on right now with F45 is, yes, we offer a great workout, but nutrition, we don't offer food in our gyms, and that's going to change starting January 1st. So
Nice.
taking these things
Yeah.
like stretching, right? There's not really much stretching. Well, now we offer stretching after every single class. So
Oh,
we're
I
really,
love it. Right? It's before there's like this warm up. You do
yeah.
the workout, and then you do your stretching, and it's all within 45 minutes. Go is a beautiful word to hear when you're scoring on the soccer field. This last World Cup was won by Argentina because of one important player. Yeah, you got it. It was the goalie. He secured the win for the team, and in the same way, ReviewBiz platform will catch negative reviews before they go online. In addition, it helps you score and promote fresh new reviews so you can crush the competition. So don't let those big box gyms take your clients. ReviewBiz will help you build your online presence and turn your own members into your best sales reps. Get your first 5 reviews for only $1. All you got to do is go to reviewbiz.com gymmoners.io/try to get started.
As a gym owner, yes, you need to take care of yourself so that you can be the best that you can be to run your business and deliver a great product to your clients, obviously. But it's also so that you can take these life lessons that you're doing and then share them and make them available to your membership database.
Yeah. You gotta walk the walk, not just talk it and kind of walk it. I kind of walk it, right?
Right.
No, it's so important. I love it. Let's talk about the people in your life that have influence. You mentioned your dad and how he's helped you not only financially but also with the blueprints, and that was super awesome. I love to see that story. But is there anybody else in your personal life or business life that's influenced you to help you make the choices? Because I've always heard if you have the right voices in your life, you'll make the right choices.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, who has an author? Somebody I know somebody must have spoken life into your world.
Yeah, I mean, I've always prided myself on reading books. I used to try to do one book a month. That's not necessarily true anymore because I've gotten too busy, which is horrible to admit. But leading up to when I owned F45 or first gained ownership, and that time period of my life, I was definitely reading heavily whatever books I could get my hand on. So reading good books like Rich Dad Poor Dad was one of the first ones I read that really started to open my eyes. That's a classic. There was a book called Everybody Lies, and it was about business. That was a really good one.
Oh, I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, there's so many. I could look at my bookshelf right now and just like go down the line because I keep them all.
Yeah.
But reading was a huge asset to me. Simon Sinek, who's a great author, he's amazing when it comes to business and relating it to bringing it back to yourself, especially as an owner, and leadership. Big into the leadership stuff. So Jordan.
He's great for leadership. He's so good. I mean, I think what I take from him, you want to treat your team as family.
Yeah.
He's got a good principles to share. So he's a great author. I love him. Yeah.
Yeah, all of his stuff is great. I really enjoy Jordan Peterson as well. So I'm really big into reading, podcasts, all that stuff for sure. Regarding people in my personal life, regarding business, I will say Roy Assad was a business coach of mine. He really helped me navigate not just F45, but just all of the different things that I was juggling and how to prioritize and what I should and shouldn't be thinking about in the future. He was definitely somebody that had a big impact on helping with all of the different things going on at once. And then also somebody else I've learned a lot from was Rocco Mangel. He owns Rocco's Tacos.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's a great mentor that really helped. I was taking on another project to open a restaurant, and I met him, and he kind of took me under his wing, and I learned a lot about business and a lot about that industry as well. So those two people in my personal life have definitely helped me regarding being basically a business mentor.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah. No, it's interesting. That's how we kind of met through the restaurant world. So it's funny that you brought Rocco's Tacos, and my brother-in-law knows him as well, and yeah, I hear great things about him. He's a great guy.
He's great.
I haven't met him yet. So it's good to hear about that. Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, and people are so important, right? The people you have around your life my mom always told me, tell me who you hang out with and I'll tell you who you'll become. And I still hear that from wise people, and I'm like, all right, my mom she knew what she was saying.
Yeah. I mean, you really are who you surround yourself with, and what you take in. Whether it's content, book content, or podcast content, or stuff you're listening to, or whatever. I mean, if you can absorb a quarter of that, it's a big deal.
Big, huge. Yeah. Awesome. Well, this question might be a little hard, and so hopefully we're able to unwrap a little bit more of who you are, and the question is there anything in your life that inhibited you from growing? And that you would like take away? If I could just take this piece out, that'd be awesome. Because I know if I would have taken this out, I would have been able to grow much faster and get to where I am now sooner, right? The velocity of things, I say, hey, listen, I think, in the US, we're a wealthy country, and, I think everybody can make $1 million in 25 years. Everybody has a capacity to do that. But if you make it in 2 years or 1 year, well, that's a meaningful. And I'm just taking finances as an example. I mean, obviously fitness things, you can always velocity of. So what would you take out from your growth journey?
So I don't think I would take out anything.
Okay.
I think that although things might have been harder, or
Mm-hmm.
although things could have been easier if I had done things differently, I wouldn't have learned the lessons that I learned, so I wouldn't change a thing. Um, if I could, magically change anything, I would say I wish I would have learned what I've learned quicker, which I don't know if that's possible. I
Right.
wish I would know. It's hindsight, right? Like, I wish I had the lessons and the skills and how I do things now. I wish I did 10, 15 years ago. And I think that I would have been, where I am now much sooner. But that's the point of life experience, right? You take your life experience and then it compounds on itself, and you utilize that to be better and more efficient moving forward. I mean, that's the whole point. So that's really the best way I can answer that question.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because that is like a catch-22. If I would have taken that piece out, then I would have not been the man or woman that I am now,
Right.
right?
Or I might have not learned that lesson.
Right.
May
And
have.
then I would have learned it later. No, I want to learn it now. I want to learn it soon. I learn fast, right?
Right.
Fail fast, right? We've heard that before. Fail as fast as you can,
Mhm.
and then you, later on, go ahead. You're not going to fail.
Yeah.
There is no failure, right? It's
I
because
think too, something else that plays a big role, obviously, is age maturity, and now being the woman that I am now, I'm not afraid to say that I had my father's help, or I'm not afraid to say that I struggled in certain areas, or afraid to be humble enough to say, like, I sucked in this area and I was good here. And when you're younger, at least in my case, when I was in my early 20s, I was embarrassed if my dad had to help me with something, or I
wow,
wanted to be able to do it on my own. I think that plays into ego, right?
right?
I think as we get older and more confident in who we are and what we have to offer, we don't really care about the ego side anymore. It doesn't matter. And I think that has a lot to do with age, maturity, life experience, all kind of tangled into one thing, right? But, now the older I get, the less I care about the little stuff. The older I get, the more confident I am in what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So it becomes easier and easier just in that sense.
That's awesome. You just in that little bit right there, you shared so much because the ego is the enemy, and what replaces the ego is confidence and being humble, humility, and being humble to say, hey, listen, I took my dad's help. And you're able to grab on to the confidence and build something. And so I love that. And you continue to build, you continue to grow. And I know ownership, entrepreneurship, business ownership is one of the vehicles to make us better. And so I really appreciate that. That's so cool. Very, very awesome. Thank you
Of
so much for
course.
that. I do have. We're not finished yet. This is like the halftime. Not even halftime. It's a little past halftime. I got the fast 5 questions, and so I'm gonna hit you fast, and you just respond what comes to mind. Hopefully,
Okay.
I prepared you through the questions I had. You'll be able to answer them. I
Okay.
do it. I'm. This is not a pop quiz without some study material, so I
Okay.
think you're good. So here we go. Ready?
Ready.
Who has been an influential person in your business journey?
Roy Assad.
Roy Assad, you mentioned. I love it. See? Um, what's one thing you wish you had known when you began your business?
To never make fear-based decisions.
Ooh, man, love it. That's the only question too. Awesome, love it. We'll go deeper on that one. Love it. What's a book, blog, podcast, or media you've consumed that positively impacted you?
Jordan Peterson podcast.
Ah, yeah. I didn't know he has his own podcast. That's good. All right.
Yes, it's the
All right.
Jordan Peterson Society.
I gotta check him out. He's also on
Wait,
Instagram and all YouTube, all the good stuff. Sorry?
and Huberman Labs. That's another really good one.
Okay. Go. Say it one more time. Just
And Huberman Labs. It's a really good one too.
nice. Do you have a favorite online tool that you use?
My online calendar.
Ooh, like Google Calendar? That's simple. Guys, everybody has that. Let's go.
It's the best. It's the best.
Get it. Use it. Right? If it's not on the calendar, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, even like eating. I'm serious. Like I put meal times on my calendar.
You know, I used to get teased because I put wake up on the calendar.
No, it's important.
It is.
Time management is everything.
Yeah. And you know, even scheduling your fun time, downtime.
100%.
Yeah.
All of it.
I love it. I even have like pray. I have it on my calendar sometimes. Just pray. Like that's
Everything.
a little break. All right, last one. What's one habit or practice that you do that you believe everybody would benefit from?
Okay. So I learned this actually kind of from Roy Assad, but I adapted to it and kind of made it my own.
Awesome.
So I will not go to bed with there being anything, I call it my now folder. Silly, I know. But anything that needs to get done today goes in the now folder.
Okay.
And anything that needs to get done this week goes in the not now folder. So I will not go to bed until everything that's in my now folder is complete. And then once it is, I can put everything away. I can spend time with my husband, with my family. I don't have to look at my phone for the rest of the evening. You know, it gives me that freedom, but I will not turn things off until that's done. And I do it every night religiously.
Now folder. Also known as the non-negotiables in your life.
Yeah.
This is
Things
awesome.
that
Yeah.
have to get done today.
Yeah. Guys, if you guys don't have non-negotiables, check. You know, maybe you had them once before and they've kind of like gone away and you're kind of like, oh, what happened? Like, check yourself. This is a great time. You know, this is, you know, the holiday season. We're leaving 2022. We're going to 2023. And if you don't have non-negotiables going into the new year, grab some because they'll make such a big difference in your life. I love that. That's a great principle and practice to have. The last question I have for you, it's how we kind of wrap this all up together, right, Liz? And if you can go back in time and share one piece of advice with yourself. So just imagine going back in time to when you're like 8 years old, 10 years old, and talking to yourself. What would you tell yourself?
I would tell myself to be honest even when you're scared and to not care what people think and to not waste time.
Wow, 3 nuggets right there. That's wow, just unloaded on little Liz right there.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's great. That's great. Yeah, be honest with yourself, not caring what other people say. No, that's so good. Liz, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate you coming on here and sharing your wisdom, the people that have influenced you. Now you get to influence others. And so I really wish you the best in your journey and where you're going from here. So thanks so much, Liz.
Of course. Thank you.
Awesome. Hey, that was great to have Liz on the show. I'm glad we got to chat with her and see how she started with F45 Corporate and how it helped her later to launch her own F45 location. Did you guys know that? I mean, that's huge. I appreciate how Liz prioritizes her clients' needs by incorporating nutrition and stretching into her workouts. It shows us that even an international brand like F45 has room for improvements. She also reminds us to focus on enhancing our clients' experience as a gym owner or any business owner. I would love to hear what stood out for you guys. And so go ahead, drop me a comment on Instagram. You can find me at Meet Esco. I'd be super grateful to hear from you. And also, if you still need to do so, and you thought about someone while listening, go ahead and share this podcast with them. I want to thank you again for your time and attention in listening to our show. Remember to follow, subscribe if you still need to do so. Our next episode will be with Dan Ritchie. So looking forward to seeing you then, and I'll see you in the Growth Zone.